My name is John Clarke, and I'm an organiser with the Ontario Coalition Against Poverty, more commonly referred to as OCAP. So OCAP is an organisation that has a direct participation by people affected by poverty. We don't have an overly elaborate structure or particularly refined registered membership system, but we nonetheless have a decision-making process. But the range of our activities really, we could divide it loosely into two things. On the one hand, people come to us, we have an office here, people come to us because they're being denied the things that they're entitled to. They're being denied social assistance income, they're facing eviction, they're facing deportation, various things, and we organise collective action as a way of actually defending people. We do something that we call direct action casework. So we may bring a mass delegation to a welfare office, or we may challenge an employer who's not paying somebody their wages by organising a picket line, or these kinds of activities. But on the other hand, we're very much a political action organisation. So we organise actions and events and campaigns that are on the bigger issues affecting people, which in this period means primarily resisting social cutbacks and austerity. We're a province-wide we're a province-wide initiative, or emerged as a province-wide initiative in 1990, and the roots of our organisation have long been associated with challenging the provincial level of government. So we're here in the downtown east of Toronto, but perhaps 10 minutes walk away is the legislature of Ontario at Queen's Park, and Queen's Park has featured in our struggles over the years in various ways, including when we were formed. In 1989, I was working with an organisation called the Union of Unemployed Workers in London, Ontario, and we and a bunch of different organisations got together, and we agreed that we would organise a three-pronged march on the legislature. So we got together teams of marchers in Windsor, Sudbury and Ottawa, so to the west, to the north and to the east of Toronto, and over about a 2-week period marched the 250 miles of each of those legs and converged on the Ontario legislature. We called it the March Against Poverty. It was actually challenging the fact that the provincial government of the day, which was a Liberal government under the leadership of a Premier by the name of David Peterson, had commissioned a study of the social assistance, the welfare system here in the province of Ontario, that had put forward a series of recommendations, some of which were relatively progressive and decent, and was just sitting on the report without doing anything. So we advanced a demand for increases in social assistance rates and a series of other changes, and we held the three-pronged march. Now, it was an event of really quite major significance because it brought together, for the first time, trade unions, community organisations, anti-poverty organisations, and it created a momentum around poverty issues that at the time was really quite exceptional. This is probably outside of a First Nations reserve. The downtown east of Toronto is probably the poorest neighbourhood in Canada. It's a place where there's an extreme concentration of poverty, a concentration of services for homeless people, drop-ins, hostels, and a centre of poor communities that really goes back to the 1840s, when the survivors of the great famine in Ireland started to move into this neighbourhood. So after we had established the OCAP office in Toronto, for a short period of time we were somewhere out in the West End, but it seemed immediately logical to us, despite the fact that we were organising on provincial issues, to also be to be based in a key neighbourhood that was a centre of poverty and resistance to poverty. And so we immediately looked for and found office space in this neighbourhood, and by the very, very early part of 1991, we had re-established ourselves in the downtown east, and though temporarily for a short period of time we had to locate our office outside, there's always been a sense in which OCAP has been not just an organisation active on provincial politics, but an actual force in this neighbourhood. We've taken up a struggle around the issues of homelessness and poverty, very much and largely in this neighbourhood. We've taken up struggles to prevent homeless shelters being closed. We've organised actions, including occupations and takeovers, to win more shelter space. And in the last couple of years have been, I think, increasingly successful in doing that.